Compressor pedals. What are they all about? Do I need one? Welcome to Gigs and Guitars. So, do I really need a compressor pedal when I'm playing guitar in pubs and clubs? I've never used one at all, even when I went through my digital modelling phase of Line 6 Flexstone 2 amplifiers and such. But, however, about a month ago, the band that I play with, they suggested doing Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers, and I thought, ooh, it's got a bit of funk guitar in that. I might need to have a bit of a guitar tone, a little bit akin to Nile Rodgers, so perhaps it's time to look at a compressor pedal, and that's exactly what I did. But the market is massive for compressor pedals out there. You can spend a reasonable amount of money, but you can equally spend a shed load of money on compression pedals in terms of the boutique things. But what is really out there, and what did I eventually buy? Well, budget was a big issue, and all I really needed was the tone to give me the Long Train Running Doobie Brothers sound to play in the band which I play in. So do I spend almost £300 on a pedal just for use in one song? Is it going to be a pedal that I would aim to have it on at all times? Some artists do that. Is it a pedal that I might use seldomly? Or would I actually find that I would actually use a pedal a lot more than I initially thought? Anyway, so moving on. This video is all about the TC Electronics Hyper Gravity, which I bought from a British trader online for £79. And I have to say, at the minute, having used it for 4 weeks now, it really ticks all the boxes that I need from a compression pedal. As you can see, £79, TC Electronics, they've got a big history in studio hardware over many years, and what the company portray is that a lot of their studio technology has been put into this stomp box. Now that caught my eye, and the good thing about this, it's really good. Can you hear that? Solid construction. So if I'm playing in a pub, my pedal board's on the floor. It's generally very close to members of the public that might stumble across the band playing area like they do. They get clumsy, they get drunk. So £79, is that going to be a pedal that would fit the bill for me in the Cooper Collective? Now, at the minute, that is at one end of the scale, and at the other end of the scale, you've got, say, pedals which are nudging £300, which are, for example, boutique studio compression type pedals. So I thought, why not give this pedal a go for £79? What could I possibly lose? So there's three options on this pedal, which you have, which is Spectra, Tone Print and Vintage, and each one of those can be accessed by this mini toggle switch just here. So I'll put some really good screenshots on the screen when you're looking at that. So, for example, Spectra is a multi-band modern day compression option on this pedal, which is what I've been using in the last 4 weeks, which I think offers me a bright, fresh, modern, clean funk tone when I need it. Now, at the other end of the three-way toggle switch, there's the Vintage option, so you just click that down to Vintage. That is, as it says, it's more vintage, it's a warmer tone. And out of the two, I prefer the Spectra at the minute because it offers the brighter frequencies, which I prefer for the funk, just to really sort of kick through the mix in the band, which I think is really good. And in the middle, you have what is called Tone Print. That is where you can plug this into your PC, your Mac or whatever, and download from the TC Electronics website the artist's tone prints for this device. So for example, if you've got a favourite artist, I think there's Andy Summers from The Police, he's put a few down as well. You've got Pete Thorne, who's a big pedal user, he's got a great YouTube channel, he's put a few on there. So if you like somebody else's tones from this very device, you can download that to here and use their tones. But then again, I think it's probably down to guitars, techniques, amps, other pedals in your signal change to, would it really give you that artist tone? You'd really have to end up with the gear that they're perhaps using and the same technique to do that. So that's it. So you've got your three options on a very simple toggle switch. So moving on again, you've got four other knobs on here. So we've got sustain, we've got level, we've got attack, and we've also got blend as well. So as it says, the sustain button, what that does, when it detects that your signal, your note is decaying, this option here, by turning it clockwise, will increase the amount of sustain by increasing the volume on your decaying note. Now, I have noticed that some people say it can be a bit of a noisy pedal, but I think that's to be expected really, because if you've got a decaying note and this pedal is bringing that volume up of the decaying note to give you sustain, it's also going to increase the radio interference as well from your single coil pickups, as an example on a vintage Fender Strat or a Tele. So I think to a degree that is expected. All my guitars are either humbuckers, or in the case of my Strat, it's got a double stacked humbucker in the bridge, but it's also got Fender noiseless pickups in the middle and the neck position. So I'm not really going to suffer from that myself. And while I've been trying this pedal out, I have to say, I've not really detected a right lot of noise, to be honest, as it's increased the volume on a note if I'm using it for those purposes. But what I'll do is I'll demo those shortly. So then we've got level. Level speaks for itself. That's the volume output of the compression pedal. So I used this in rehearsal the other week. I thought my bright, funky sound wasn't quite hitting the mark in terms of volume. So I just rotated that clockwise to around about 2 o'clock. And that increased the tone, sorry, the output volume on this pedal through my signal chain to my amp. We've got the blend option here as well. And I thought this is quite useful because that's a blend of your original guitar signal and equally a blend of the compressed output signal from the pedal as well. And I think it's really good. I normally keep that around about 12. I like about a 50-50 split on that. And I think that works quite well. The attack, this is quite the interesting one for the funk guitar kind of thing, and I quite like it. So if you're like a country chicken picker, if you will, you're going to have that ramped right all the way around at 3 o'clock on the dial to give it instant compression. You don't want it labouring. You want that instant attack from the plectrum to be fully compressed at that point in time, so you get the maximum impact. When I was doing that with the Doobie Brothers the other week, that attack was round at 3 p.m. on the clock face, and I found that really gave me the impact that that song needed. So it was bright, that the high frequencies there, the attack was there, the sustain was about right, the balance in the mix between my guitar tone and the compressed tone from the pedal was a nice even split. And I felt that the level, even though I had to increase it marginally, was equally perfect as well. Right, we're all set up now. We've got the Ibanez JS1000 plugged directly straight into the Hyper Gravity, which in turn is fed straight into the Laney IRT60. That is DI'd straight into the PC via my audio interface. All the 4 control knobs are currently set to midday on the device. The device is switched off. This is what it sounds like, if you can hear that. Okay, so I'll just activate the pedal now, and it's in the Spectra mode on the 3-way toggle switch. If you recall, it's got Spectra, Tone Print and Vintage. So we're in Spectra, which is what I prefer. So this is the Hyper Gravity now activated. So this is the same chord again. Incidentally, my Ibanez is actually on the coil, the volume of the tone pots there, the coil splits are pulled out. So we've got the single coil tones from these humbuckers. So I thought I'd do that on this guitar because it's a nice compromise between the Les Paul and the Strat. So you're going to get the tones of single coils, but also equally humbuckers too. So the toggle switch is set into the middle position. So it's a combination of both pickups in single coil mode. So, and this is the tone again. So, okay, so I'm going to go to my first of 3 tones that I've set up for this pedal for when I'm using this rig live. So the sustain is going to go to say 10 o'clock. The level's going to go up to say 2 p.m, perhaps 3 p.m. The attack's going to go around to 3 p.m. completely. The blend is going to be at 1 p.m. as well. And in that position there, I will just switch the pedal off so you can hear the true tone from the Ibanez, which doesn't sound bad at all. Okay, activate the Hyper Gravity with those tone settings. And I think you'll agree, that sounds quite nice. Now, for people with humbuckers on, say, for example, a Les Paul or whatever, I'm just going to pop the coil taps back in. They're popped back in. I'm still in the middle position on the pickup selector. So here we go. So you can hear a complete difference between the 2 tones. If you're wanting to really play a bit of Nile Rodgers kind of funk, you're probably going to err towards a Strat style guitar, or certainly a guitar with single coil pickups, or certainly a guitar such as this, which has the ability to coil tap on both pickups to give you that single coil tone. Okay, so moving on to my second tone, which I used in my sort of rock rhythm channel on a dirty channel in on my amplifier. So what I have here at the minute, the sustain is set to 9 o'clock on the dial, the level is set to midday, as is the attack and the blend. And this is what you've got in terms of the dry signal going through with the actual guitar. So just play an E major bar chord. So. Now, my Laney amp is quite a high gain amp. Now, if I wanted to increase sustain at a gig level rather than increase the gain, which would cause a lot of problems, hit this, and I've got a little bit of sustain added to the blend, really. So we should hear a little bit more duration in the actual drive. just take that off again. Putting the pedal back on again. And what we'll do, we'll just play the E major chord and just let it ring out. And what you can hear as the chord disappears in terms of level, the pedal is bringing up the volume in turn to keep it sustaining, to make it last longer. But in doing so, the interference in the background also increases as well, which you can hear towards the end. So I try to keep the sustain level quite low, so it's set to 9 o'clock on here at the minute. Okay, so tone number 3, we have the sustain set to 11 AM, the level is set to midday, the attack is set to 2 PM, and the blend is also set to 11. So it's really subtle amount of sustain that this will give you. So just with the pedal switched off. So we've got a nice bit of sustain naturally from the compression of the amplifier, which is really good. So we'll just pop the pedal on. Same again. And as the note naturally fades out, the compressor brings up the volume. But in this sense, I think it does it quite tastefully. That is, of course, in Spectra mode, which is a multi-band compression, which is my preference. So guys, you can use other people's tone prints. You can use the vintage option on the pedal, which I think is really good. So I've got 3 different settings and I quite like it. Okay, so those of you that are into David Gilmour, you might have a black Strat, you might have a high watt amplifier, you might have a big muff, you might have a Phase 90 or whatever, but I'm going to give you a quick hot tip. You can only play David Gilmour genuinely if you use this little device, and it's absolutely fantastic. And here we are, and if you can see it, it's a humbug. This is the only way you can get a true David Gilmour tone, is if you eat one of these while you're playing your black Strat. Hot tip of the day. Now, am I going to be using this pedal 100% of the time? Well, the answer at the minute is no, I'm not, because it is a digital pedal. These knobs on it are not analog in any way, in terms of when you turn these, you've got to wait a moment or two for the actual desired level to kick in while it adjusts itself. The actual pedal itself, when you do look at the back of it, it says made in China, but it's designed and engineered in Denmark. But I think it's really good for £79. If it doesn't do the job or it breaks in a few years' time, well, so what? I'll just get another one or I'll buy something else. But when you do look at this at the minute, and the results I've had from it, it is really good value for money. I've got a shameless plug coming up, guys. If you follow me on Instagram, the last few days you might have noticed I'm wearing not only my Gibson Les Paul Standard, which is there, but I'm equally wearing a Gigs and Guitars branded t-shirt, which is a specimen sent through to me by a t-shirt printers. And I'm quite happy so far, but it's not quite there. But it's really just to see what it looks like. I think we've all got a wardrobe full of black t-shirts at home, and I thought a white one which reflects the Gigs and Guitar sort of branding would look quite nice, and to be honest I'm quite pleased with the results so far. But if you are interested, or if you want to comment about it, let me know what your thoughts are, and if there's sufficient demand I might just put a little bit of a run together just to see how we get on, but let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed this edition of Gigs and Guitars, please support the channel by liking, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon, which will let you know when I've released another video all about guitars and guitar geekiness, things that I think you need to know about. So what are you waiting for? And there's always time in the day for a brew. Cracking.